Okay, this is second video to the I Am GD Bad Owl playlist of metaphysical, spiritual, intuitive information. So the second video, I wanted to share my ET experience. I saw my first authentic ET experience probably about like 2 years ago. I was in the back room with my roommate, and we were looking out the window, and this is what we saw. So I'm gonna try to draw here. Excuse my drawing. Oh, this is so bad. Okay, so I'm supposed to look like a star. That's a really flicked star. Let me try to do this again. We saw like a really enormous white star overhead, and it was so enormous, it was so luminous, white luminous, and it was so large up close. Like, that can't be a star. Let's see. Try to draw it correctly. So say this is, you know, us watching it from the window, like our view or whatever, but that's how like gigantic, you know, it appeared. It was like really close up to the trees, and it was white. It was like it looked like it could be a spaceship, like a star spaceship. And at the time, my roommate like, no, it's a star. I was like, no, that can't be a star because it's too close up. Stars are not, you know, they're pretty distant. You barely can see them anyway. This thing was huge. It was enormous. And you know why? Because I watch a lot of Doctor Who shows, and there's one particular episode with Doctor Who. If you watch Doctor Who, there's an episode where he first meets Donna Noble, his companion. I think it was like season 5. I'm not too keen on the seasons, but he meets Donna Noble, and he meets her at the time where this big white spaceship comes into London in or I should say Cardiff, and this spaceship is like from like the Spider Queen, the episode with the Spider Queen, and this starship is enormous. That's how, like, okay, you know, I remember watching an episode, and it looked, this star, or so-called star, looked just like that star spaceship in the episode. So I was like, okay, no brainer, you know, it looks just like that. Maybe the writers have some real, you know, like information about ETs, but that's what it looks like. And then the next thing you know, like with my fervent faith, like that's not a star, you know, because we were debating about it. I was just like, no, I just had the faith, yo, that's not a star. I said, yo, that's an ET, that's an alien, you know, that's an ET. And I said it was such, you know, faith or whatever. It only took, what, like 45 seconds in to, I feel like they gave up. Like, I feel like they were listening to us telepathically, because like they had to have heard every word, because, you know, it just seems like when they disappeared, when they left completely from our view, it just seems like, you know, like the jig is up, kind of like. So they went from this star spaceship, enormous star spaceship, into a black helicopter. Like they shapeshift, basically. This was like my version of a helicopter. I mean, and it was an enormous, I'm making this kind of small, but the helicopter itself was also pretty gigantic. I mean, it was huge, really. And it just did it very effortlessly, like it was dancing in space. Like the transformation of their shape-shifting was just like so fluid. You know, clearly it transforms and shape-shifts all the time, but it was very interesting how it morphed like that. So I had, you know, thinking like, okay, wow, what could do that? You know, it's gotta be ET. I don't think it's our government. Our government doesn't seem like, you know, maybe they might have secret technology that could do this, but I doubt it. It just seems very ET, the way they transformed. They remind me of the Transformers from the movie Transformers, like how easily they can shift, you know, themselves, you know, from one form to another, you know, mechanical shapes or whatever. So it went from like a supposed star to a black helicopter. So basically it was a shapeshift. It was some type of technology, higher technology, and it was camouflaging itself. And I feel like it was telepathic because they had to have some way of listening to us, because it seemed like they heard every word upon, like, you know, them shape-shifting. It took like a few seconds, really, like maybe like 45 seconds, and they left. So they got technology where they can be outside your house and they can really like hear everything. You know, the telepathic or whatever they're using. But that's basically the story. Just be careful what's out there in space. You know, things that look like helicopters, spaceships. We've seen airplanes and like their ETs. You know, they'll shapeshift back and forth. You'll think it's a regular airplane or a helicopter, and it's really an ET. Or things that look like stars, you know, that are up too close, or maybe they, you know, the lighting, the way they're appearing, just doesn't feel right, doesn't seem right. If you study stars often, like, that doesn't look like, you know, like a regular star. These are ETs, you know, or people will call them like entities, demons, even like fallen. You know, they go by many names, but basically they've been around the earth. They live inside the earth. They could be interdimensional. I think they're from here. Like, it seems very common to see them out there. And that's pretty much, like, when you think they're like regular phenomena, they really could just be an entity. It could be a Draco reptilian entity that shapeshifts. And another thing I want to say too, aside from appearing like stars, spaceships, helicopters, airplanes, they can also appear. We've also seen entities that look like suns. I don't have like a yellow marker, but just picture this color as yellow, like a yellow orb. They've also looked like they also look like a miniature sun disk. And you'll see like these little orbs of energy balls, you know, flying. It'll be, you know, ranges from yellow. Actually, you'll see pink orbs sometimes. So you'll see like a range of colors, and they'll be entities. They'll be like yellow, pink. There might be some red. I've never seen red, but possibly red. Let's see if I've seen any other ones. Okay, white. You know, if you ever see like orbs of energy flying around in the air with different colors, variations, these are spirits. These are spirit creatures. These are, you know, entities or etherics, whatever you call them. I mean, they may not entirely be limited to energy. The Draco reptilians, they can manifest their form from energy to physical matter. So they can become solid, just, you know, intangible like us. So they actually call this, it's a spiritual term when you see these orbs, these energy orbs. It's called a Merkaba. We looked that up. It's supposed to be like a way to transmute your physical body into an energy body, and when you do that, your energy body will look, you know, oh yeah, I've also seen blue, where like I realized that you can be blue. So yeah, you can be a variation of colors as an energy orb. And it's just a spirit vehicle. It's just how they fly in space in the spirit form. We know of spaceships and airplanes, and like what I've described here is technology. Draco reptilians, or I'm not sure if they were Draco reptilians, but they're definitely telepathic entities using technology from what looked like a star, but it was really a ship, transforming into a black helicopter. So, you know, you have technology of like, you know, mechanical, you know, metal material, and then you got like energy vehicles, like spiritual vehicles, and it's more based on spiritual principles, and you can still travel the universe. So it's different ways of traveling, really, spiritually and materially. It's just all about what you can do. Like I said, the Draco reptilians, they can do both. They can transform themselves into physical matter back to mechanical. They can do energy. They can do energy forms too. So they could do a whole gambit of vehicles, space vehicles. They're also called this too, sylphs. It's just another name for these type of entities, or these vehicles. These are really just names for the energy vehicles. These could be any type. If you see these energy vehicles in the sky, they could be any type of ETs, really. You may not know what type of ETs that are using this Merkaba. They could be like, okay, they could be ghost, they could be Draco, reptilians, it's a type of ETs, or they could be grays. People have talked about grays more often. Or they, you know, it's also possible, I'm not, you know, familiar about my UFO knowledge, but it's possible that the government could have confiscated some of their technology, and even they may be using the means to go back and forth. But that's just, that's a theory, it's question mark. But I have heard of that, that the government, they confiscate technology, ET technology all the time. But it's very questionable if they have the type of technology that we see with the entities, the Draco reptilians, or if they just have something from like the 50s, which is probably more plausible. They have like the old 50s UFO saucer, like this old technology UFO saucer. But anyway, just question what you see in question what you see in the heavens, in the air, as you start looking and observing more in the heavens, because ETs are around. And you know, we're entities, these spirits, beings, they've been around for forever. We just don't notice them. You know, a lot of times people are just ignorant to that reality. They're just not looking up, or they're not really paying attention, or they're not aware, excuse me, they're not spiritually aware of it. So that's my that's my ET experience. So ETs disguising themselves as natural phenomena, things that we overlook.